Yep, I'm a ranch girl wearing overalls talking about jewelry. What's unusual about that? Hi everybody, it's Janine over at SLOHappyVintage, and we're going to do another haul video. But first I have a little bit of housekeeping. If you see anything in these videos that you're interested in, or even if you see something on eBay that you're interested in, go ahead and email me rather than contacting me through eBay. They kind of frown upon people discussing stuff outside of eBay on that platform, and I totally understand why. So anyway, that's that. I'd had that great estate sale, and then the very next day I went to the swap meet, and there was a lot of jewelry there, and people were wanting to sell stuff cheap. So I think I spent a total of $34 on the things that I'm going to show you, and it was a fabulous day. Some new vendors there that would kind of fall into that category of they didn't really care what stuff was worth and they just wanted to get rid of it. So I'm there for that. Anyway, let's flip the camera around and I'll walk you through what I found. It's kind of a crazy amount of jewelry, and pretty much all of it's going to be for sale. There was a gentleman there who had a giant box of jewelry, and I was kind of flipping through it, and I saw that it was a lot of this kind of stuff. It's a lot of Korea, West German, Japan beaded necklaces from the 50s, and I often don't buy these unless they're glass. A lot of them are glass and a lot of them are plastic, but he he was really wanting to sell stuff, and the whole box, he said, how about $10 for the whole box? And I'm looking through it going, oh, but I have so much of that type of jewelry to begin with. I don't really need a whole box. And then he said, well, how about $5 for the box? And I didn't even get a chance to look through the whole thing because I was picking out a couple of pieces, and I thought, for $5, there's got to be enough in there, even if it's just harvesting clasps and things. So I went ahead and I bought the entire box for $5, and then I had a handful of other stuff that he charged me an additional $5 for. So I spent a total of $10 there, and well worth it. There were some nice things in that box. Anyway, I'm not going to show you each of those, but there was that, and then there was these items. This is craft supplies here because there's some broken things, and then these are just cheaper items that they're wearable and they're cute, but they're not types of things that I sell, so that'll go into a wearable lot of jewelry and I'll sell it pretty cheaply. Then there's also this pile. Once again, this is all from that box, and these pieces are kind of along the same lines. They're wearable, but I don't know if that I would sell them individually, with the one exception, possibly this one. This one, it's plastic, but it's very unusual with the kind of pastel melony looking beads, and it's picking up things on my table. It had a single earring with it, which was a little sad. I kind of was hoping there would be two of them, but there was only one. So anyway, that one's kind of fun. It's got this little cha-cha dangle tassel on it too. I would have to say some of the nicer things in this lot would be this little Czech necklace, and this was in that box as well. This is Czech glass. It is signed Czechoslovakia on the back of the clasp. Don't know if you can see that, but it's on there, and they're kind of like a swirly yellow bead. Pretty nice necklace there. This was kind of a surprise too. These are all real pearls, and the piece is not marked. Now this clasp looks very similar to the J. Crew clasp, but I don't think this is a J. Crew piece because I don't remember J. Crew ever using real pearls. So they're nice little real pearls, and I believe this to be gold plated, but I'm not positive, and I'm not going to test it because I don't want to ruin the finish on it if it's gold plated. But it's really nice quality, and it's a super cute necklace. Remember when I talk about buying lots of jewelry, and not necessarily at the swap meet because I'm actually picking out pieces at the swap meet. I don't often buy like a giant lot from the swap meet, but I always want to have a couple of pieces that will pay for the entire lot. And for $34, yeah, this lot is very easily paid for, but this piece alone will probably take care of it. It is gold plated. This is nephrite jade and real pearls. It is a lovely, lovely little bracelet. I actually thought about keeping this one because that is something that I would probably wear. Very cute on, very wearable, very well made. And then, of course, you're going to find your glass necklaces like this. This is an AB necklace. Then this little baby bracelet, or children's bracelet. These are from Japan, and they are also, I believe, gold plated. I think it's, no, it just says Japan on it. Really cute little bracelet. This is just a glass little stone in there. Awfully cute. Got some flower power brooches, cluster earrings. We got lots of cluster earrings. Some of them are marked Japan or West German. Some of them are really nice. So we've got these blue ones that are gorgeous. And I've already cleaned these up. Somebody asked me about cleaning these if they have pads on them. Sometimes those pads have been on there for, 40, 50, 60 years and they get sticky. And I have a couple of different ways to clean them. I have little tools that I like scrape things off with, and I use some acetone sometimes if the piece will be okay with acetone. Q-tips, little brushes, lots of different ways. I don't like to soak jewelry like this because of the stones on them. These stones, if you get them wet, it can loosen the glue, it can deaden the stone, it can ruin the foil backing on the stone, so we never want to soak things like that. And then we have some more little blue crystal earrings. They are not marked, but they're cute. These are Sarah Coventry, and I believe I have a matching necklace to this, so I'll have to take a look at my Sarah Coventry things and see if I have a match to this. Now, somebody was saying that they never find vintage jewelry, and it is pretty hit and miss. I search all over the place, and I love it. So thrift stores, antique stores, vintage shops, estate sales, swap meets, flea markets, Facebook Marketplace. There's lots of different places to look, and you never know when you're going to find things. So like this whole bit at the swap meet, I a lot of times only find a couple of pieces there. I happen to stumble across a bunch of stuff this time, and it turns out to be, if I had to put like a cost per goods on this lot, they'd be like 50 cents a piece. So I just want to encourage you, keep looking. Even if you don't think some place is going to have great stuff, just look anyway. These are look to be gold-filled or gold-plated cufflinks. They do say something on them. I think they say Simmons on them, and it says something like patent applied for. Now, one of the ladies had a bunch of jewelry that she was blowing out for $1 a piece. I think all of these came from her. She had a shop, and she decided to close the shop, and she's doing a van life thing where she's converting a van and traveling the countryside, and decided to sell all of the things out of her shop. So she was just blowing things out at $1 a piece, and she had some nice pieces. And then I was shopping and talking with her, and she asked me, she's like, you know what? If you can watch my booth for a while, I just need to use the restroom, and I'll give you 5 free pieces. I'm like, you don't have to give me 5 free pieces. Go use the restroom. So I watched her booth, and she insisted on giving me some free pieces. So anyway, so basically I didn't pay for some of these. This came from her booth. Look at how pretty this is. I don't think this is tremendously old. It's in beautiful condition, and it's got this embossed metal here with the pearls. It's just super pretty. Like that I don't really collect anything blue. I'm not a blue person. I'm a pink person, but this one just struck me as being really lovely. Some more big pearl earrings, also not marked. Very late 80s into the 90s. These kind of look like Chanel dupes. Obviously, they're not being promoted as Chanel or anything like that, but they look very similar to some of the high-end Chanel earrings that were coming out at the time. And these are, what are these? These are Napier? Now, don't sleep on Napier. Some of the Napiers are quite valuable. I don't know that these are. I will have to look at them, but some of these Napier pieces sell for quite a bit. So I thought these are just kind of little twisted leaves. These are little stag earrings with an amethyst glass rhinestone on it. They're screwbacks. They say something. What do they say? They say W Brothers I can't say it, Mizpah. All right, I will have to look that up. I don't know what that means. Then we have a couple of brooches that need a little bit of work. This one needs some stones. I think this one needs one stone. And those stones are looking a little shabby, so I might go ahead and replace all of those. This looks like an older piece. I don't know who the maker is, but it's definitely older. These are not signed. These look familiar. I'm not sure who this belongs to. I know this little curlicue swirly heart oftentimes was used by Juliana or D&E. These do not look like they would be D&E earrings, but I might have to do a little bit of research on them and see if they are anybody in particular. And these are Monet. Once again, nice earrings. These are fantastic. These are little knight earrings. They are marked Bergère, and they just made me laugh. Little knights with little plumes coming over their head. Got a couple of just miscellaneous wreath brooch and some more cufflinks. This is what they call the bullet clasp on these. These are marked Dante. They look like they could be monogrammed in there. This was just a very statement piece. I think it was $1. I don't believe it's marked at all. No, it's not. Once again, this is a dupe for some higher end pieces of the time period. Got a little figural monkey with the rhinestone tail. Looks like he's missing one rhinestone. He's goofy. Goofy little monkey. Then we have a milk glass necklace that has this kind of clasp. It's got little milk glass discs and then these kind of swirly pink glass beads. I have a little figural leopard. It's not ancient, super old, but it is vintage. It's got the little rabbit ear clasp. It's in great shape. This is all enamel, and then he's got little green eyes, green rhinestone eyes. Now this necklace is most likely from the 50s. It is older, it's really well constructed, but I can't figure out who it belongs to. It feels like a Coro or, I don't know, it's almost too nice to be Coro. But I can't find a mark on it, and I can't find it online. It's got, this little petal is intentionally folded over every other flower, and then the alternating flowers are open. It's really pretty. And then we have a horsebit necklace. This was really filthy when I got it. I cleaned it up. I put most of this in the sonic cleaner, the stuff that could go in the sonic cleaner to clean it. And I was thinking I was going to take this necklace apart and make several smaller necklaces using just the horse bits. I do sell a lot of Western jewelry or horse jewelry, and this would make a nice necklace. I could make several of them with this. So remains yet to be seen what I'm going to do with this, if I want to sell it as is or take it apart. Then this piece I thought may have been sterling, but it doesn't look like it's sterling. I think it's just a pot metal. And it's older. It's got marcasites. It is missing a couple of marcasites, so I'll see if I have those marcasites. If I don't have those marcasites, I might end up using this as a donor piece for other pieces that are missing marcasites. Boy, how many times can I say marcasite? Some more cluster earrings in bright red. I think I have some bright red rhinestone necklaces that I could pair these with quite well. And a Trifari brooch. Pretty, it's not an amazing Trifari brooch, but it is a Trifari brooch. Speaking of not amazing Trifari, I also found this Trifari. It's like a chunky yellow plastic necklace. It has the, if I can find it, the dangle charm with the Trifari mark on it. And it's nothing spectacular, but it is Trifari, and it's older Trifari, so, but you know, it's not by any means top of the line Trifari. We always talk about different levels of manufacturers. There's always like a high line, a mid line, and a lower line. This would be a lower line of the earlier Trifari pieces. And then this one is also Trifari, marked Trifari right there, also from that 1955-60s time period. The thing I like about Trifari is that their gold coating is really solid. They developed their own color of gold finish for their pieces. They called it Trifarium. And it like Monet, like Napier, it holds up really well over time, unlike the new stuff. I mean, come on. You could buy a cheap new thing that's going to turn colors in a week or maybe a month, or you can buy a vintage piece like this, and it basically has stood the test of time for almost 80 years already. Now, one of the cooler pieces in this lot is this necklace, and it is not marked, but I believe it to be a goldette. This is a known design for goldette, and value on that is on the higher end for a costume piece of this caliber. It's got little faux. Well, you know what? I should test these. I don't think goldette used like jadeite or anything. I think these are probably glass, but I'll go ahead and test them anyway. This one I actually paid $5 for, but when I figured in the whole what I spent for everything and I did a cost average, everything came out to be like 50 cents. When I sell things, there are some things that I definitely want to get the highest profit I can on, but I do have a lot of jewelry and I need to feed my mini horses. I say that in every single video, but that's what the money goes to, is taking care of the miniature horses that I have. I have 4, and also my rescue dogs. So I'm not a nonprofit or anything, but that's what the money goes to. So if you're interested in anything, I am very open to offers on everything. I have a little bit different of a mentality when it comes to selling than a lot of sellers do. So just email me. This, I don't know who made it. Does not have any markings, but it is a cute little mid-century bracelet. This one is also not marked. It's got a nice little whirligig clasp and multi-strand chain. There is a little bit of wear to this, but it is very, very wearable. It's not, if you put it on, people aren't going to notice that, oh my gosh, it's got wear to it, because it's just not that noticeable. I mean, if you really scrutinize it, you can see the wear like on the nubs here, but it's just a nice multi-strand chain necklace. We have a cool 60s or 70s belt, orange in color, almost has kind of like a book chain look. You could actually wear this as a necklace if you wanted to, but it is a belt, and you can just clasp it, like I said, anywhere. Cool design. He had more of these. I probably should have thrown a couple more in there, but I didn't know what he was going to charge me overall. And then when he said $10 for the whole thing, I'm like, oh, should have bought more. But like I said, gotta save stuff for other people. So it's almost like a, what do you call that, goldstone? It's a pretty, very Southwestern design look. I don't believe this is copper. It looks like it's brass or coated. It's made to look like copper because you can see the wear obviously on the underside. But the side that you see looks great. There's a little tiny bit of wear on some of these. And we have more cufflinks. These are, all I see is a patent number on these. They're glass stones. Very, very, very good condition. This piece is a very kind of postmodern, mid-century look. Very unusual. It's like a bib necklace. And I didn't even know what that was. I just saw the links in the hook, and I just threw it in the box. I've never seen a clasp like this before, and I see a lot of jewelry. Basically, it's got a little crown on it. It's not a Trifari crown, but you open this thing up, you set this little piece in there, and then you close this and snap it. And that's how it closes. I've never seen any. It's just a chain, like a choker. I've got it twisted here. It's just like a choker necklace, but I've never seen a clasp like that. So if anybody knows anything about this, please let me know in the comments. Oh, this is a Coro chain, and it does show some wear. It might just be tarnished, so I might try to clean that up a little bit. I use these Pro Polish pads to clean up a lot of these. You can see you have to be really careful with these because it will often take gold finish off if you're not careful. But I think that will actually polish up decently. Yeah, I think it's just tarnished. Anyway, that's a Coro. Now my hands are dirty. This one is a Coro also. It is a cute little tennis bracelet with baguettes, and it might be missing a couple of rhinestones. And I always, if I can, I will always replace the rhinestones on these nicer pieces. If I can't, of course, I will let people know. That's a nice one. Also, all of these chains, these are not gold. They're just kind of, they're like snake chains. And these chains are not that popular, but I might be able to, I've got lots of pendants that need chains, so I'm going to stick these in my chain box and try to match them up with some pendants, unless people want them. And this one is not marked either. These are metal, but they're a little lighter weight metal, and the clasp is quite nice. I like those little clasps. And then the last of the men's jewelry are these. Now, I have seen these advertised as Essex crystals. This is not an Essex crystal. This is not an Essex crystal. These are glass, and they're basically made to look like Essex crystals. They are reverse painted, formed in the glass. Now, I have an Essex crystal. Let me go find it for you so we can look at the difference. This right here is a true Essex crystal, and they are typically set in gold, usually 14 karat or greater, and they are hand carved in actual quartz crystal and hand painted, reverse painted. So they're very intricately done. They're very highly skilled craftsmen who make these, and you're not going to see like bubbles or weirdness around the image in there. When you look at these, this one's actually not bad, but these are like, I think they're actually molded glass, not necessarily carved. And yes, they are painted, and I believe they are hand painted in reverse order, but let's get the Presidium out and test them. You're not going to have an Essex crystal in cheap metal. This is a tie clip, could also be used as a money clip. This is a tie clip. I mean, I like both of these. I'm a big fan of dogs and horses, obviously, and I like them both, but they're not going to be worth what this is. So if I stick this on here, yeah, it's just going to be glass. And this one is just going to be glass. See how the needle's not even moving. Now here's our Essex crystal. See how it goes all the way up. Actually, it's going up to spinel. Wow. So yeah, this is definitely a valuable piece. And then we're going to, oh, it's also valuable because it's set in gold. And then this one is that nephrite jade. See how it goes right into that chrysoprase emerald nephrite section. So that's that. Now there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Let me go get it and I'll be right back. I always tell people knowledge is key when it comes to finding cool things. Yesterday I stopped in at an antique store, and fact of the matter is many antique dealers don't know jewelry. lot of jewelers don't know costume jewelry, and antique dealers oftentimes don't know jewelry. Some of them do, and they specialize in that, but a lot of times they don't. So I saw this cabinet full of jewelry. In that cabinet, all of the brooches were $12. Most of them were cheap Chinese brooches, and I don't have any cheap Chinese brooches except for one of these. And to show you, there was one brooch in that group that caught my interest, and I picked it up, and sure enough, it was a Juliana. And obviously, the person didn't know because they had all these really cheap, $3 AliExpress type brooches along with a Juliana. So it pays to know what you're looking for. So in this group, there are various levels of value. If you were to see these, which one would you pick up and purchase? There are actually a couple that I would pick up and purchase for $12. I wouldn't pay $12. I would only pay $12 for one, maybe two of these. The rest of them I wouldn't pay $12 for. This one is from my other video, and this one obviously it's missing some stones. I'm not going to pay $12 for something that's missing stones. It's swedge construction, so I know it's not going to be a high end, but it is vintage, and I would prefer to pay around, $2 for this, and that's actually what I did pay for it. Then looking at the rest of these, if I pick up this one and I analyze it, it's all prong set, which is a good sign. It isn't missing anything, good sign. It's pink, which is nice. It's AB rhinestones on here, so it's going to be post 1955-ish. And the backing there's nothing spectacular about the backing. We're just going to analyze these. It does not have a pin stops. It's not going to be Juliana. It is a nicer, older brooch though, but I would probably want to pay, once again, $2 or $3 for that. Looking at these, I'm going to pick up this one. Looking at this one, I'm going to look at these. These are just glued in. They're not prong set. These are just glued in. There's nothing prong set about those. This is like a cheap modern glass. They are AB rhinestones here. They look like they're probably flat backed. And then you flip it over and you see all of that texture. So this piece, I wouldn't even buy. I don't care if it's like 50 cents. Well, I did buy it because at the time I bought this, I was not into collecting jewelry, and I just wanted something cute to put on a jeans jacket. And this was very cute on my jeans jacket until I discovered real stuff, the nice vintage stuff. So I bought this at Walmart years and years ago. I don't know why I hung on to it. But anyway, I would not buy that, period. So then looking at these two, this one, you pick it up and it's got gorgeous coloring, very much drawn to the coloring. It's got everything is prong set, beautiful, and it's got nice marquise or navette. I call the long skinny marquise a navette, but sometimes that word is used interchangeably. And these round ones are called chatons. Beautiful coloring. Flip it over. It's marked Weiss. That's a good sign. It's got nice plating. There's no wear. There's no missing anything. Everything's intact. It's a beautiful brooch. That one I always call myself bougie on a budget. I would want to pay no more than $3 to $5 for that. If it were Weiss 20 years ago, I'd probably pay more for it, or even maybe 10 years ago, but the value has kind of dropped out of the market. But the nice thing about this is it's an interesting design, so it would most likely sell for a little higher than just the plain ones. So there's that one. And then there's this one. This is the one that I happened to buy the other day from the antique store. And when I first looked at this, it was kind of off in the distance, and I noticed the dome. It's a really high dome, and I noticed these giant dog tooth pronged set stones, and I thought, oh, could that be possibly a Shriner? And I don't know Shriner that well. I only have one Shriner, actually two Shriner pieces myself. So I'm still learning about Shriner, but I saw the dome, I saw those, and I'm like, let me look at that closer. So I picked it up and flipped it over and immediately went, oh, that's not Shriner, that's Juliana. How do I know it's Juliana without searching the database? The overall look is high quality. Juliana or D&E pieces are always really high, super high quality. And the dogtooth prongs are not common in a Juliana piece, but they do exist. Everything's prong set. But the key giveaway, there are a couple of things on this. One is the pin stop. I don't know if you can see that pin stop. It's got a little stopper right here that keeps the pin from opening all the way up 180 degrees. But a lot of pieces have pin stops, so that's not the only thing. Then the other thing is you'll notice that it has what they call figure eight puddling. Now, figure eight puddling is a specific thing. A lot of people say, oh, well, there's no such thing as figure eight puddling. It's just messy solder. In a D&E piece, it is specific. It is specific to the type of stone, excuse me, to the size of stone, the manner in which it's joined to the next stone, and how it's soldered. So when you get the figure eight puddling, you're going to have this particular size chaton next to another of the same size chaton, and when they solder it together, it happens to bleed together and make this figure eight. There can be just 2 pieces, 3, I think up to 4, and then sometimes I've seen all the way around having that figure eight puddling just next to each other. But you can see it on the 3s, and you can also see it inside on the little 2s. Now, the other thing that's important to notice is that when you have this configuration of the puddling, you're going to flip it over, and these stones are going to have what they call fang prongs. Now, fang prongs are different than regular prongs simply in the way, in the spacing. So like if you look at this chaton, see how the prongs are equidistant around the stone? Well, when they do that type of soldering, they can't put it equidistant because there's solder in the way. It's just messy. And so they have 2 prongs on one side and 2 prongs on the other, and they kind of face in like little fangs. Sometimes there will be just 2 fangs here and 1 fang down here. But that's what they say when people say, oh, it's got fang prongs and puddling and all these terms that you may or may not know. That's what they're talking about. So I didn't mean to get off on a Juliana note, but the key takeaway is when you go to antique stores, look at these brooches. Pay special attention to what they've got going on in their cabinets, because, like I said, there were a ton of just cheap Chinese, $3 brooches or $2 brooches or $1.89 brooches in there, along with the Juliana or the Weiss or something else that is more valuable. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, or if you gained any knowledge or just found it interesting, hit the thumbs up button. It really helps my little channel grow, and leave a comment. Most of all, I just really enjoy collecting and sharing things with other people about jewelry. So I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next one. I just realized I don't really know how to use this microphone. Is this working? I don't know.